T, old buddy, old pal, old friend, old pal of mine. Welcome back to the channel. We're taking a look at the 5 best Joker moments in the Arkham series. Have we run out of ideas? That is the question.
We are getting there.
No,
yes, we are.
Well, I don't know. There's so many things to talk about with the Arkham games. I mean, there's only so many lists we can do, which is why we take, so many multi-day breaks between them.
Yes, we do.
But they're one of our favorite things to make. So we are going to dive right into the list. Our first one we have is Arkham Asylum, the entire game.
That's it.
That's it.
Victory
all right,
Royale.
wrap it up. But honestly, this game had some of the more interesting encounters with him, but not our favorite. In terms of, there is actually a bunch of optional encounters with the character. And that's actually between like a lot of the main events of the story. You can go off and meet with him essentially in the what is the ward again? It's not like an actual ward. It's like almost like a visitor center.
It's a visitor center.
Yeah.
And it's got like the Joker head that's building around it the farther you get into the game.
Yeah,
which is a really cool aspect of it too. But yeah, you get in there and it's got like the TV talking heads. And the first one you'll see the one. But those environments change throughout the game. So you go in on, say, the third try. There'll be like 10 Jokers there. And they'll all have the talking heads in different poses. So it just kind of varies throughout. And then obviously that's where you end up going for the last part of the game.
Well, and also the television head imagery. Like the Joker body with the television head on it with the Joker face in it is like really memorable imagery from this game.
Yes.
It's like, I think it's even on the back of the original box.
Yeah.
Like it's just very well remembered and associated with Asylum. And the dialogue is really interesting. It's almost like Joker trying to dissect Batman's character like through counseling in a way.
Yeah, it totally was. It was funny. There's one line too where he's like, "Sit down, take off your mask," and
yeah,
so he's got like a ton of really good lines in there too. And I mean, he's just a funny character. I feel like in that game, like there were literally moments where I would laugh out loud at what he said. So it was a great part of that game and one of my favorite Joker moments for sure.
Come in, sit down, take off your mask. So, Bats, I was thinking, you really could use a friend in here. Someone to talk to, share secrets with. Shall we start with the big one? Who is that behind the mask? Why do you feel the need to go out into the world and fight people like me? Do you really think you can win? We'll see.
Our next one is a bit of a surprise inclusion for us. Now, reportedly, this is one of the things that got Mark Hamill interested in coming back to the Arkham Knight game to actually play Joker again, because it seemed like he wanted to be done after City. He came back to Knight partially because of this, and that was being able to sing a little song to Batman, where he sings "Can't Stop Laughing." It's one of the most memorable parts of the game. I'm probably not going to include the audio of the actual song because for some reason, this is like one of the things on YouTube that's always like hit by the copyright claim thing.
Sure.
I've noticed, especially like if we have uploaded it in the past. So that's odd, but it's just so memorable. And I love the personality that shines through there. Like when they switch over from Johnny Charisma to him, and it's like, if anyone's going to serenade you, it's going to be me.
Yeah, I did love that.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, he's like dancing around. He's really getting into it. And I mean, it goes on for a long time too, because you can, if you want, if you're tired of him singing, you can just go up and take him down pretty much right away. Like it'll just be a matter of, I mean, you go up and he's singing, you watch Robin kind of go in the background, and then you go up and take him down. But if you stand there for a while, he literally puts on like a 3-minute show where you can just kind of sit there and watch him, and it's hilarious.
You can, and it's really fun. It's really one of the most personality-driven things I think in the game. Like in terms of like really letting the Joker shine through. It's too bad that they had really overdone the pivot to Joker at this point. So like a lot of people don't appreciate some of the stuff that's in that game. Even though it is really well written, it's just like there was such an overabundance of the character that people were like, I'm over this.
That's a great point.
But it's also where we got some of the strongest moments from him. So it's kind of a shame.
I would agree. Yeah.
They probably should have just been more upfront with the marketing of those things, and people would have been a lot more receptive and enjoyed it a lot more, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, I think they were going for that like twist, like oh he's dead, but he's still in the psyche.
Yeah, but you're not
still...
M. Night Shyamalan.
No,
and most of the time, people who market any of their products on twists, it doesn't land. Like you have to be really good at it and not do the same one over and over again.
That's a fair point.
And doing the same one over and over again made these not enjoyable for people, sadly. The next one we have is actually Joker's origin from Batman Arkham Origins, and this is not his origin with Black Mask. This is his origin that he breaks down for Harleen Quinzel in Blackgate Prison.
Yes.
I love this. And you know what? There was actually which I believe became not canon because it was an old, the old audio tape in Asylum, and some of those were retconned by dialogue in Origins. This is like a much improved version of that. Like it walks you through his full origin, really detailed and really like with a lot of emotion. And like the previous one was good, but this was like in depth. Like you are there.
Oh yeah, well even in the Asylum tapes, you do hear like mild things where she's trying to get in there a little bit, and he's just giving like ones that don't apply, and like it's the idea of his past being multiple choice, you know what I mean? And in this one, it's kind of the story that we've seen, that we like believe kind of, where it's like the Red Hood, where you see him fall into the acid, where you see these things. It was just really cool because we had not obviously seen that with Rocksteady. So Warner Brothers Montreal, just really dives into that part of the story, and we get to see the character a little bit and the development of both Harley and Joker at the same time, which is really cool.
And you figure out why Harley has this fixation on Joker.
Yes.
It starts there because she thinks that Joker's talking about her when he's talking about his obsession now with Batman.
Yes, yeah,
oh, have you ever met someone who changes the way you look at things? Like, she thinks it's about her.
Right.
And it's not at all. And I think another thing that was great about this was that it kept enough of the multiple choice pass too, because you see the Red Hood stuff, that's all you see.
Yes.
So you know that at some point he was in the Red Hood costume, that's all you know. Like, they don't go enough into detail where you're like, oh, this guy's name was, Jack Napier, and he used to be a mobster, and he did this, like one of the movies or something. They let you to sort of see a bit of detail and take the rest on its own.
Yes, yeah.
And that was really interesting and special, I think, and really humanized the character, too, to give him some kind of past without taking away from the vagueness.
Have you ever had the feeling that your entire life has been building towards this one moment?
Is that how you feel?
Well, now, yes. Now I realize that all the battles, the bad days, the brutalities, it was all the hand of fate at work.
So now you see fate differently?
Absolutely. Now I understand. There are no chance encounters. It was all meant to be. Everything leading up to who I've met tonight.
The next one we have is one of my favorites in the series, and I really struggle between this one and the top one in terms of what I like more. In terms of impact, it's really hard. The top one probably has more. But this one is actually the chapel confrontation in Batman Arkham Origins. It's so good.
The dialogue is unbelievable in there. And the dialogue, Joker saying, that's not funny. That's...
Now that's not funny.
That by itself is incredible. But then you get to where, Batman starts beating him up. He's still laughing. He's still going.
He wants him to kill him.
He does.
Like, it's really just like, it's not a rip-off of it, but it's sort of like, the charge scene in The Dark Knight, where it's like Batman's on the Batpod charging Joker down the street.
Yep.
And Joker's mowing people down because he wants him to kill him. He's like, just do it.
Literally says, I want you to do it.
Yeah. This is sort of like that scene almost distilled down and expanded into like fuller dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's different, but it's like that heart of that issue where it's like Joker thinking like, well, if I get him to do this, like, he doesn't really have these morals anyway, and I win. And it's so fascinating.
Well, it's the first time that it's cool because it's showing, like the title says, their origins. So it's seeing the birth of this relationship and it coming to its culmination for the first time. So you're seeing really how the foundation was set for the rest of the series. And I think it applies really well, and I think it worked really well. And I think Troy Baker really nailed that scene too, just in the way that Batman and Joker are going back and forth in that way too. I loved it. And
I did too.
It should definitely be it should be up there.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Beat me till your knuckles bleed. Why quit there? You know there's only one way to stop me.
The final one we have, oh man, it's such a sad scene, and that's Only You.
Correct.
From Batman Arkham City. And it's really just in the end credits, so there's not much I can show with it. But, you know, obviously this ties into, big spoiler alert for Batman Arkham City when you're on the, you know, on this video. It really ties into his death.
Right.
And it sort of starts at the joke, like the joke of like, well, I would have still saved you. And it's like, well, that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he dies. And that's sort of where that scene starts. And then it goes and it builds into the credits after he carries out his body. And it's just Joker creepily singing the Only You song. I don't know. It's just, you can't really put it into words.
Well, it's interesting. Was he, I don't remember, was he still sick when he was singing that too? Like, was that like that's like the last voicemail that he left,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
I think that's the most like brutal part about it too. It's like the last final voicemail that you didn't listen to yet before the game ends. And so
Yeah, because don't you get that voicemail when you're...
in the end credits, it shows up. It's like...
But, right, but that's what I'm saying is like he essentially he sent that voicemail before he died.
Right.
And Batman never listened to it.
Correct.
And then he listens to it after Joker is dead.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's brutal. It's a brutal thing. And I mean, it's so... I mean, Hamill nails it like he always does. But that death scene was like, you end with the smile on his face. You know, he's dead. He carries him out with Gordon. And then we get to the cutscene, and then it was him singing it. And I mean, the singing goes on for a couple of minutes, and it's such a powerful scene. I loved it. I think it was really well done, and it's honestly, it's one of my favorite moments. No, it is. It is probably my favorite Joker moment in the entire series. It was so impactful and well done. So.
Yeah, it was, and I really think that it sort of was the cherry on top of that whole dynamic between them.
And that game. And the game's unreal. I mean, just from beginning to end. So, yeah.
So, hey, these are our top 5 favorite Joker moments in the Batman Arkham series. What were your favorite Joker moments? And are you excited for the Court of Jokers to appear in the next Batman Arkham game? We know we are. We actually had some ideas here. We were talking earlier, and we were looking at 5 ideas for a new Batman Arkham game. We had the Court of Jokers, the Joker League, the Legion of Jokers, the League of Jokers. You know, there's just a lot of things you can do with Joker. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. We really appreciate having you here on the channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day.